Want a note on this one. Sitting here running through these, going pretty fast, and I realized there's things I haven't shown you or explained to you about running a serger. A serger pulls. What you have to do, I'll show you down here. You have to line up, oh I dropped it. You have to line up the edge of your fabric that you want serged with this little piece here, this blade edge. You lift the foot, you press the pedal, lift the foot, you put it under there, and you hold it as far back as you can to draw a straight line between where you're holding and where it's pulling. It's going to draw it in. You want to keep this edge of the fabric right there. Well, let's see what happens. Other than me pressing the pedal and dropping the foot again. Yeah, you got two pedals on the serger. That one raises and lowers the presser foot. This one drives the machine. So, go slowly lowering the foot. You get movement, and you just keep it in a straight line as it's going through. As close to that edge as you can. So it goes all the way through. Then, cut the thread off on the hook. Pull it back and do the other side. Just watch, I'll show you. So what I mean by having to pull fabric on the serger. Now you don't want to do that if you're using a stretch material, or if you're pulling against the stretch. You just let it go at its own speed. But to keep things straight, it makes it easier with the serger if you're pulling it against it. Watch. And I can guide it with this finger too, just to keep it in the right spot. Easy to do. But little technical things like that. There we go. And that means I've got enough strips of fabric serged up on both edges to make 24 versus 18 that I need. And again, that makes it, I have extra 1 inch wide already, but they're the wrong stitch color. And they're 1 inch wide, and I want 3/4 inch wide. So, set you up, I'll show you on this machine here, once I get the thread tree uncovered. Everything being cat proof right now is getting reversed so I can get back to work. Okay, you're lined up, you're set up, you can see what's going on. And let's start this machine. Not a difficult thing to do. You take the fabric, this is the back of it, and yes, that's the wrong color stitching, but it's going to be hidden. You fold it in to the center. Start at one end. Fold it into center so that it's even on both sides. Yes, we're doing it from the back. We don't even have to back stitch this one. That fold is where it's supposed to be. You fold them both in the center. You're only stitching one side down right now, but that's okay. And we broke the thread. So now that you've seen how to do that, I'll turn you off, I'll rethread the machine, and I'll start over again. Okay, so we're all threaded up again. Got the needle back in place. I can actually show you this now. Don't get too aggressive with the pedal. I do that sometimes when I'm in a hurry. Aren't you lucky you get to see me make mistakes and you can learn from them without making them yourself? Two ways to make mistakes. The two most common ways to make mistakes. Being lazy, being impatient. This is from me being impatient. So, you get down to the end, holding both of them down. Turn it at 90, get this edge folded under where you want it to be. Hand spin it. Three stitches over. And you're right where you need to be, on the other side. So again, you push it down, up against the edge of the other one. Line it up. Stitch it down in place. I'll show you what the end result is after this stitch row. What you do to tie off the end once you get to it. Do it at 90 and go all the way across. Where you don't need to backstitch it. Let's cut off our excess here and here. Remember we had to restart that one. And under the lamp, here's what we got. See? Just a very simple, straightforward strip of material that has 2 stitch rows down it. That's going to be your belt loops. Let's cut them up. Before I finish stitching all of these and cutting these up, thought of something. Something that you have to think about when you take on a project, and something I haven't mentioned before. Now this, it looks decent. It's good. It's not perfect. You know? It doesn't line up perfectly 3/4 of an inch. It waves a little bit here and there over the span of the distance. So I decided to do one perfectly. I pinned it. Then I stitched it. And it measures perfect over its entire length. The problem with this is it took 3 times as long. Now it's great that it can be perfectly measured and marked and everything, and you know, turn out within absolute tolerances. But it's a belt loop. The piece you're cutting is going to be 4 inches long. That big. Of that, a 1/2 inch at either end is going to be folded under, so you only have to see a 3-inch span of this at any given time. So you want to get them done as fast as possible. Now, at any point along this one, over any given 3-inch span, let's see, from there to there, over a 3-inch span, over any given 3-inch span, it looks good. Can't really see focus on here, but it looks good over any given 3-inch span. It looks straight. It looks even. It looks high quality. So, quoting one of my favorite YouTubers, Jimmy DiResta, if it looks straight, it's straight. If you're doing this for, well, if you're doing this for any type of profit, any kind of a job, save your time. Don't worry about the absolute minutia. If you can save effort and cut your time in a third for doing any part of a project and still get a good product, do it. I'm not going to mark and measure and pen all these individually before I stitch them, because I don't need to. Okay? Okay. The process making these belt loops, I'll put you up here. Give you a nice spot to start from. So, I'm going to cut these at 4 inches. So we don't got to worry about this axis. Just this one. We need 6 of these per for 3 kilts. So we need 18. End up cutting 20. Use the grid for this. I lined up the ends at 0. Go to 4. Take roll knife. There. At 8. At 12. And a 16. Use a scrap. What that does, 10, 15, we got 20 of these. And we don't need to serge the ends on these, just a tiny little edge that's going to be folded over. These ones already have the serge on them, that's fine. But what's going to happen, it's 4 inches. I'm going to fold over a 1/2 inch at either end to stitch it on. So that makes it 3 inches visible. And of that 1/2 inch, we're going to be stitching in roughly 1/4 on each end. So that 3 inches becomes 2.5, which is wide enough for a belt to go through. Say, wide enough for a belt to go through. Stitch row is going to go through there and there, multiple times. But yeah, so we got 3/4 inch by 3 inch belt loops. I've got more than enough of them to do those 3 kilts. So the next step's going to be putting those on. Talk to you next time.